Crimson Carnival. Does that name sound familiar to you? If you've played Sonic Unleashed or have seen gameplay of the game, then you might say yes. Crimson Carnival is the subname of Eggman Land, the final challenge gauntlet in Sonic Unleashed. Except it's not, actually. Crimson Carnival is one of the most common Sonic-related Mandela effects, which, if you didn't know, the infamous Mandela effect relates to shared false memories. It's something that a lot of people remember happening, but in actuality, it never existed. I recently made a video discussing a number of Sonic-related Mandela effects, as I find the concept pretty cool. But there was one comment from user UVI Gamers that caught my eye. Their comment mentioned how they were surprised that this video of mine didn't talk about Crimson Carnival. And when reading this comment, I was shocked. Indeed, I didn't include Crimson Carnival in the video, but it's not because I forgot. It's because, like a lot of other Sonic fans, I thought it was real. I thought this name was actually present somewhere in Sonic Unleashed for the longest time, but it never existed. So why do so many people remember the name Crimson Carnival being used? And where did the name actually come from? For some background, every location in Sonic Unleashed has a unique subname for each country. The countries themselves have their own names, but the stages within them also have their own unique title. For Apatos, the stages are titled Windmill Isle, in Chunan it's Dragon Road, in Adabat it's Jungle Joyride, etc. However, Eggman Land is the only exception to this rule. The Eggman Land location and its stages share one name. There's no subtitle. For me, this makes plenty of sense. Eggman Land is not really a country, but rather it's a special final area to access the final levels of the game. You can't even access its hub world until the post-game. But even with those differences in mind, a lot of people automatically expected that since every other stage in the game had a subtitle, so did Eggman Land. But that's just not the case. Nowhere in the Act Select menu or the hub world is the name Crimson Carnival mentioned, but people still swore that the name was somewhere in the game. Some claim that the name was actually used in the Wii/PS2 version of Sonic Unleashed, which does often go overlooked because most people consider the PS3/Xbox 360 version to be superior in nearly every aspect. Even I once thought that the name was displayed at the beginning of every Eggman Land stage on the little title card that shows the act name, and UVI Gamer shared this memory with me as well, but that memory is false. This version of the game also has no mention of Crimson Carnival. It is understandable to think something like this because these two versions of the game do share a lot of differences, but this just isn't one of them. Some also claim that Crimson Carnival is actually what the stage is titled in Japan. It is common for a lot of things to have different names in different regions of the world. Like, the one that immediately comes to mind for me is Music Park from Mario Kart 7. In other places outside of the US, the course is titled Melody Motorway, which is a way cooler name. Like, why didn't the North American version get that? And in Sonic Unleashed, Rooftop Run has a different name in Japan, that being Orange Roofs. But when it comes to Crimson Carnival, the name still doesn't exist in the JP version. The acts and the location are still called Eggman Land. And then there's speculation that the name Crimson Carnival was planned to be in the game at one point, but was scrapped. I could not find any source for this, so I'm just going to assume that this is also not true. So where did this name come from, and how did it become so widespread? Well, there are countless fan-made videos and fan art that use the title Crimson Carnival. I think YouTube actually plays a huge role in this false memory being so prevalent. There are a few gameplay videos that use the name in the title, but I think the real culprits are the several soundtrack uploads of Eggman Land's music with Crimson Carnival in the title, and that extends to outside of YouTube as well. So a City has the Unleashed soundtrack up for download, and the files for Eggman Land are named Eggman Land Crimson Carnival Day and Eggman Land Crimson Carnival Night. And these files were modified in December of 2008, only a month after the game was released. So this name goes way back. And these same files have also been re-uploaded to other file sharing sites. There's also this Roblox game called Despicable Forces that has a level titled Crimson Carnival, but I highly doubt that's where the name came from. The name popped up when doing research for this video though, so I thought I'd mention it. So with all of that in mind, let's try to answer the question. Where did the name Crimson Carnival come from, and how did it become so widespread that it created a Mandela effect? My leading theory is that it was a simple fan-made name, born from the naming inconsistency that Eggman Land has compared to the rest of the game's levels. Now, as for who came up with the name, we will probably never know. it was most likely a person behind one of those soundtrack re-uploads I was talking about earlier, if I had to guess. It might also be a possibility that there's a level from another game that uses the word Crimson and somebody just mixed it up with Eggman Land from Unleashed. It could also be some kind of early name that was thrown around before launch. But again, from my findings, there's no record of that anywhere. So with nowhere else to go, unfortunately, this mystery still remains unsolved. At the end of the day, Crimson Carnival and Sonic Unleashed can just be considered as a very widespread Mandela effect. At least until we get to the bottom of this mystery. But I want to hear what you guys think. Please let me know if you know something that I failed to mention in this video. And also let me know if you've had any experience with this, and if you've seen it in other places before. But for now, that's all for me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.